we are here for All About Drop Off. Um, I have a quick outline and I will share my screen to show you kind of like the basic floor plan. And of course, if you have any questions, concerns, we'll definitely talk about that. So, housekeeping item at the top, of course, as my other screen refreshes and takes me away from what I was looking at. We still need a lot of shifts filled, like a lot of crew shifts filled. So, if it's something you're still thinking about doing, um, definitely please take a look, get those spots filled. I just add today, um, I added today a few shifts for actually tomorrow and Wednesday to help get the daycare packets out. So if you wanted to help at the sale and the weekend doesn't work for you, this is a way that you can earn that extra commission by doing one of those routes and getting those packets distributed. Um, so look for that. That is all still in home base. It's all in the same spot. Um, there's also some paid. So for my paid staff that's on the phone, there's also a couple paid shifts. So if you want to earn a few extra bucks before the sale, you can pick up those as well. I just really, really need those out into the community to spread the word. So that's that on daycare packs. I also still have a ton of, I shouldn't say a ton. I think I've got like 5 or so window clings left. And so if you want to pick up one of those, they are available. And I want them all used. It's silly for them to sit in a tub. I can reuse a bookmark. I can get creative with that. I cannot reuse a window cling. There's no way to print it differently. Okay, so jumping back to shifts, there have been a few questions in the group about this, and so I want to make sure that I kind of cover some basics there. When you work a crew shift, the typical time is going to be a 4-hour shift. The tasks for that shift are anywhere, mostly I would say like merchandising, making sure our floor looks clean and pretty put together, things are organized. If sorry, we might have you help like assisting cashiers, so not actually ringing in, but helping to bag. If we need runners for wagons to go back to the front or rolling racks moved. We need a receipt checker every day to check as things, leave the building. So nothing, not too crazy of tasks. I would say I try to identify our muscle shifts that you would be heavy lifting and doing a lot of walking. But most shifts, I would say light walking or if you need an accommodation, we can certainly figure that out. The only exception to a 4-hour shift would be the sort shift. In home base, I think that's indicated right now as like 11 to 5. And that is accounting for how that will work for our sort team. We'll kind of huddle up at 11. I'll go through the process of sort and what we need everyone doing. We'll kind of break out into teams. And then you'll have time to shop the donates for 75% off. Okay, so it's accounting for your shopping time. It's allowing you the last 45 minutes of the sale to shop, get your items out to your vehicle, and then come back and do our tasks. Sort runs from noon to 4, if I'm going off of my own memory. So from noon to 4, you'll sort. Knock on wood, God willing, all the good vibes and things. We're done with sort at 4:00. You get to pick up your items early. So those are the perks of the sort shift. You get to shop the 75% off sale, and you get to pick up your items early, provided we're done with sort. So I think in home base, it looks a little spooky because it's a longer shift than all the rest of them, but it's blocking off your own shopping time and like a buffer for sort. So you really only would be working, um, the same amount of time as anybody else. So I hope that makes sense. When you work a shift, you get obviously your extra 10% in your commission check. You also will get a t-shirt from me, a crew t-shirt. I pick out very soft shirts because I want to wear them all the time. So they're very comfy, very soft, very light. They're not like that heavy, heavy cotton, the cheap cotton. Um, and they're cute. They say consignor crew on the back, but there's like little safety pins and things. I think they're cute. I mean, if you hate them, don't tell me. It'll hurt my feelings. so, beyond the shirt that you would get at your shift, you would want to consider your footwear. I say closed-toed shoes, but some people have lots of opinions and problems about that. That's your own risk, I suppose. That um, if you want to wear flip flops and a box falls on your foot, then um, I would recommend closed-toed shoes and something comfortable. And you don't need to wear anything. Like I usually wear leggings every day of the sale. Some people wear jeans. It's kind of whatever you're comfortable with if you could for walking, bending, moving purposes. So that's what I got on shifts and window clings and daycare packs. Any questions before I move on? Because we had some people filtering in as I was saying those things. Mhm. Yeah. So I I feel like I need to think through this better for next time. But what they should do is the consignor should take the shift in home base, so I know who to attribute the work to. And then I think the person that's a proxy, um, they won't be able to check in on home base, so they should see me or Aaron. I can probably even set up Robin at the front desk to do this, that we would kind of sign in for them, if that makes any sense. So in home base, it will look like the consignor came, but we'll have talked face to face to their proxy to confirm that that person is standing in for them and there's someone here to do the work and all that good stuff. So a little more manual of a process, but um, yeah, that's a good question though. Thank you. Any others? Yeah. So I think it's like clock in. Um, and you just log in when you get there, like to home base. And I think there's like honestly like a little button that says clock in. And you clock in. And then when you're done with your shift, you clock out. If you have any trouble with it, I will have like a sort of like a kiosk station set up at the front that we can assist people if they're having trouble when they get there. Hey, Stephanie. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with it because I obviously don't use it, like, to clock in and out. So I'm always like, "How does this go?" But yeah, we'll have it there. We try to make it easy. Um, sure. Why don't you introduce who you are? Yep. Mhm. Okay, so let's dive in to drop off. And I have my agenda on my other screen here, so I apologize if you see my profile. At the end of this, I'm going to show you the map. So right now, I'm just going to do a lot of talking. And then when I show you the map, I'll kind of quickly run through all the things I've said to help sort of solidify what's going on. So when you arrive to Athletica, we're going to ask that you enter in from the rear of the building. Okay, this will be the opposite of our shopping flow. So at the back of the building, there is a garage door. That's likely what we're all going to be walking into. The things you're going to want to have ready are your e-ticket. That's like the ticket with the QR code, and at least one tagged item. Because we're going to scan you in on Ticket Spice, and then we're also scanning your item in on POS. It means nothing for you. It's just really all the admin stuff for us. Um, Ideally, I'm going to have two lines. We're going to have a standard line, and then we're going to have a line for our Fast Pass holders or our express drop off people. Okay. So those will be clearly marked. You'll know where to stand. Again, knock on wood, excuse me, we've never really had a line at check in. It usually goes really fast. So let's see. You should have your ticket ready, just a caveat. You should have that ticket ready every time you come back to the sale because we'll scan it. Um, so make sure you have that with you. Um, I will have printed name tags for consignors to upon check-in. That's so we know who you are, to call you by your name. And if there's any special indications, like you are a Fast Pass holder, you are Express. If you're new, and I just want my staff to know to look out for you. And if you look like you're doing this, we know to, hey, how can I help you? And get you where you need to go. Okay, so Fast Pass holders, you're easy peasy. You're gonna breeze on by and just start putting your items out on the floor. Um, we have signs everywhere. We do not hyper merchandise our clothing, so you're gonna put it in all the places that you need to. For consigners who do not have a Fast Pass, you're gonna go to our clothing inspection area, which will, when we're shopping, that will actually be our register area. So just so you're kind of like putting it all together. You go to our clothing inspection. Our clothing inspectors are going to help you put everything on a rolling rack, all of your clothing on a rolling rack. And they are, honestly, I'm flipping through like this, filing. They know to take no longer than 10 minutes per consignor. The caveat being if you have a lot of clothing, it might take a little longer than 10 minutes. But this is just like a quick, double check, right? Because we know you guys have done your due diligence on cleaning your items, inspecting them yourselves. This is just our once over. Let's see. If you have fewer than 3 items pulled at that point, they will congratulate you on earning a Fast Pass. That Fast Pass is caveat on no other items being pulled throughout the sale. So just keep that in mind. Then they will release you to go put out your items. Sorry, I had one other person join. My JBF Gmail makes me admit people. It doesn't let me just open it up. Okay, so you can, once you're done with check-in and clothing inspection, you are free to put your clothing out or your items out, I should say, in whatever order you decide. I might personally scan the area and see what is, if there's any backups anywhere. Sometimes we have a backup at large items, but we're changing that process just a little bit. So I'm hoping there's not going to be crowds of people in any given area. When you are putting your clothing out on the racks, there will be black. I think they're mostly black. There might be a few white ones. Alpha discs. So they're right on the pole. They're like the size of a little CD, and they say A through Z on them. So if I'm just gonna. I think it's easier for me to talk about this as an example. If I have my daughter's 2T dress, I'm gonna walk to the girls section. I'm finding 2T size sign, and then my consignor letters or my consignor number, excuse me, starts with the letter G. I'm going to hang that dress, excuse me, in girls 2T behind the G. So, and if I have a bunch of 2T stuff, I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to put it right there behind the G and move on. This is honestly just something that helps us at the end with sort. So don't overthink it, but that's what you need to do. I prefer racks to be loaded to the bottom first. I know that's different than a lot of places, but we've had the turf we're on at this venue is not as squishy as previous venues, but I'm always nervous about tipping. So I like the weight of the racks to be low. Okay, questions on clothing. Okay. Sorry, I'll say this about Express. I missed one little bullet point on Express. There is a designated Express drop area. If you are an Express drop-off person, you'll make your way there. We have a staff member who will sort of like intake your items. All they're checking for is that they're organized, if they need to be hung up on a rack for ease of getting them out on the floor, and they're kind of gonna make sure that you haven't gone over that item limit. But other than that check, you're free to go. Okay, moving on to shoes. Our shoe, how do I want to talk about this? You're putting out your shoes. We will inspect them later. The sizes are all marked, where you need to place those items. The question that came up in the group today was about shoe security. So this is a self-elected process, okay? We are not determining if your shoes are of high value or not. So if you have shoes that you think need extra security, this is the process you're going to employ. And of course, I don't have my green ticket in front of me. It's a green tag. It's literally the same size and shape as the yellow tags for our large items. It says very clearly on it which piece of the tag goes on which shoe. So if I'm going, I created this and I created it a while ago, so I'm going off of memory. The right shoe goes to the register, meaning it's the one that we keep behind and secure with our team. The left shoe is the one that's left out on the floor. Okay. We do that so that, I would like to think that nobody would steal from local families, but unfortunately, some people do. And so this is an added layer that if you want, like I said, if you want that extra security on your shoe, we keep one behind so that, nobody's going to steal one shoe. And that and it says clearly on there for a shopper where to get the mate to that shoe, and they'll get it when they come to the register. So, I will have those green tags, as well as like the little zip tie things that go with them for you to affix it to your shoes. We'll have like a rolling rack there that has pockets for you to put the other mate in, so that we can wheel that behind in a secure area. So that's shoes. The bottom, the floor in the shoe area will have all kinds of baskets, like laundry baskets. Those are for our play shoes. Remember, those are shoes that are maybe not quite up to JBF standards, but do have a lot of life left in them, and are going to be great for that kiddo, out on recess, spring hikes that are super muddy, that kind of thing. And they are priced $2 or less, and they are marked for donate. So those all go in the baskets at the bottom. Okay. Questions on shoes? Okay. We will move on to large items. So If you consigned with us or shopped with us at our bonus sale in December, we are in the same venue. Um, and I'm mentioning it because where the basketball court is and where the bounce house was last time, that is where all of our large items are going to be, is out on that basketball floor. So, um, you'll approach the opening, the entrance to that area, um, with your items. Again, we'll have 2 lanes. This is the goal, to have 2 lanes. One is for general placement merchandise, and I'll explain what that means, and the other one is for safety checks. Okay, so the distinction is you're going to go in the safety line with your items if you have anything a baby or toddler is sitting in, riding in, or sleeping in. Okay, and what that means is that my staff is going to do another quick inspection of the item, and they're looking for recalls, making sure you have your waiver, that kind of stuff. The general placement items are going to be um, your ride on toys, your bicycles, your play kitchens, things that don't need that safety check. We will have the yellow tags available for you. Once we've kind of given a thumbs up on your item, my staff will give you the tags and the tools to put put it on your item. You'll enter the large item area where more helpers will be to direct you where to put them on the floor, and then you are going to put the tag on yourself. And that is to um, reduce the bottleneck and the backup we've had at the large item um, area. Sorry, I've got a comment. Kimmy, you can just chime in, but I'll read your question right here. What is the waiver for large items? So, if you go to our seller resource library, there is a button for the safety website. I forget what I've called that button, but it takes you to like a JBF corporate website that allows you to look up your own recalls, which we definitely need you to do. Um, and it has your crib waivers and your car seat waivers that you can print out and have ready to go. I'm going to look up this website now because it's going to bug me. It's safety.jbfsale.com. And I'll drop it here in the chat. But that's linked on our website as well. Okay, back to my outline. So you'll enter the large item area, put those items out there, put the tags on. If we spot any sort of part of your item that needs to be cleaned, wiped down, we have all of those things, but you should do your due diligence and bring it clean and ready to go. It's just if we happen to see something on its way in, or maybe it got a little scuff on it coming from the driveway into the car, that kind of thing. There is so 2 things. I'll get to things with wheels in a second. If you have a very large or awkward item, I'm talking like a glider, a crib, maybe even a bed, there's a different door that comes into that basketball area. Just notify my staff and you'll be able to bring it in that side door. This will make more sense when you see the floor plan. Because it's kind of right where you can pull your car up. So you don't have to kind of carry that awkward item all the way through the floor to the other side. You can kind of bring it in directly. So just let us know if that is your situation. For things with wheels, wagons, strollers, probably like push trikes, like anything someone might kind of think, oh, I'll push this around and I'm going to buy this thing and now I'm going to shop with it. I'm going to make it my shopping cart. Anything like that, we will be chaining together as like an additional security measure. So I have pink security tags, and a chain and things, that this might be something we do after drop off happens. It might be something we're doing while it's happening. So just a heads up on that, I guess. Questions on large items or yellow tag items. So, um, you do need to create a tag in the tagging website, and you are gonna print that and bring it. The yellow tag is like a very large it's like a claim ticket. It's quite large. It's like if you take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and you cut it into threes, that's how big it is. Um, you take your white tag, your cardstock tag, and you're putting that on the yellow tag, and then that whole thing is going onto the large item. Yeah. Yeah, no problem. In the past, we were doing that for everyone as kind of like a service, and it was just taking way too long. And so um we need to be there to just like assist you and kind of give an explanation of what's going on. And like I said, do a safety check on those key items and then allow you guys to move on into the room to place your items down so that we can keep it moving. So, but that's a good question. Any others? Deanna asked if there's someone to help unload larger items and carry in. Perhaps I wouldn't count on it. It kind of depends on how many people fill our shifts and um, what's going on. I will say I don't think we've ever been in a scenario where I had to say no to someone. Um, but I would say that I don't think we would be able to help every single person carry in large items. So that might have to be a bridge that we cross when we get there. Where do I get the ticket that you will scan when I arrive? Adrian, you already have that ticket. It's your oh my gosh, why am I blank? See, this is like I was saying this before you guys got on that this is the point of the sale where I'm like not sleeping, doing things at ungodly hours, and my brain is pulled in a thousand directions. So when you guys finally actually see me in person at this point, I am I probably sound like such a ditz because I just I'm losing my brain. And it's not a good look. Okay, wait, I lost the chat. Okay, because I had to admit some people. Um Yeah, there you go. That's the word I was looking for. When you signed up to consign, you paid your fee, you picked your drop-off time, it's the ticket you got from that system. So, all right. Anything else? Okay. We'll move on to toys. Okay. Um, my big caveat on toys is please don't just like dump your toys and run. Um, excuse me. Um, we want to be um I always say this, you eat with your eyes first, right? And so our shoppers, it's the same thing. They're like looking at your items, and you've taken so much time to make sure your items are clean and complete, and they're packaged up nicely. Don't just throw them on a table and peace out. I We really want you to help like arrange them nicely. Um, for example, if you, I don't remember who I was talking to the other day. I think it was my friend Lisa, and she has a bunch of like American Girl and My Generation stuff. And I was like, "Ooh, set it all up. Like merchandise your own stuff. Like put your little bunk bed up and put your doll there and like, make it look cute." Um, we're there to do that also, but as a community collective effort, it would really be great if you can help speed that along. Um, there are plenty of signs up and everywhere for you to put items out. The big thing I want to distinguish is that there is a section for baby toys and then big kid toys. So, um, we just want to make sure you're putting your things in the correct spot in terms of safety because the big kid toys are obviously going to have a lot of signs of, small parts and pieces, that kind of choking hazard signs, that kind of thing. So I would just want to make that distinction. It should be pretty obvious, but in case it's not, I'm saying it here. Um, high value items. So Again, this is something that you determine. I am not here to judge your items if it is high value or not. An example of a high value item might be a tablet or a hoverboard or um I don't know, I'm trying to think. Would you consider American Girl doll a high value item? I don't know. Um so anything that you're concerned about theft, unfortunately, again, we do our best to prevent it. It has happened, unfortunately. Um but we try and put these things in place to deter that. So, um if you have a high value item, we have like I don't know how to describe it. They're like metal cables that we will attach to wherever you're putting that item out at. We're going to attach it to the table in a way that doesn't come off the table easily, and we're going to attach it to your item. Um, the reason I use the cable is that it requires like a special tool to actually cut the cable. I also have pink security tags for that. And I think I was talking to, oh no, I remember what I was talking about. If a shopper wants to buy that item, the process would be that they would get a staff member because that's what it says on the security tag. We would unhook that item and we would take it right up to the register for them to purchase. Um, so if you have items that fall into this type of category at drop off, please find a staff member to help you affix that in a way that is secure, um, and no one can steal your item. Um, okay, we have a DIY like boxing and bagging area. So if at the end of your drop off, you have a bunch of empty boxes, you have bins that maybe you brought your things in, but you don't want to take them home because you don't have the lid for it anymore or whatever, there will be a place to leave those so that we can repurpose them. We will either repurpose them with our shoppers or with our charity partner donations because we need to box them all up for them to pick up. Okay, I'm ready to show you the map. Any other questions? Um, we typically do that kind of after drop off, so we see what we've got. Like if we see we've got a lot of Disney jammies, for example, we've done that before. We've pulled all the Disney jammies out to make like a little feature rack. We've done that with team gear. You know, if we've had a lot of like Tigers things come in, we'll kind of flip through clothing and pull those all out. And make it our own just because it's hard to determine those things ahead of the sale. And our rolling racks are, I wouldn't say they're limited, but we want people to be able to use them for drop off. Um, so we don't want to like designate that rack ahead of time and it's out of commission. Does that make sense? Yes. Thanks, Aaron. Cool, cool. Um, okay, let's look at our map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. Is that anybody? Dora? No. What? Nobody's kids were into Dora? Oh my, thanks. Um, okay, I hope this loads, guys. I need to flip over to my restream. I don't even know if this is like really going well, but I'm gonna do what I can. Maybe I'll just have to record on Vimeo later. Talk to myself for a little while. Okay, can you guys see this screen? Cool. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay. So this is the Athletica layout. This is the, can you guys see my mouse? I'm hovering on check-in right now. Okay, awesome. So this is the garage door I'm talking about. So this is the rear of the building. You'll check in here, and I have this arrow. This is kind of like I want to encourage a one-way flow, but I understand it may not go that way. For shopping, it will. It will be, actually be the reverse, one way in, one way out. So, so you'll check in. Here's our clothing inspection. Our clothing racks are all here. They will be in perpendicular lines going this way. Excuse me, you see boy shoes, girl shoes, theme racks. So you don't have to worry about that's what you were just asking about, was the theme racks. And excuse me, I should not be drinking this pop right now. Um, this is where that will go. If we pull them out, we'll put them in this area. That going along the wall, that transitions into sporting goods and then maternity. Um, we have books, games, and puzzles right here. And then we also have a little section of that here as well. Um, and that's because when we have a line, we'll snake them through the books. So that's to kind of have like a place for the line to form. Okay. You see Mommy Mart is here, our express drop off. We have big kid toys, baby toys, and then infant care, along with bedding and room decor. This area, there'll be a tent there, so it'll be pretty obvious what's happening. But this will be your large item check-in, and then there'll be, if you've never been to this venue before, there's like big blue like curtains. So we'll have kind of like an opening in that curtain for you to walk through with your item and your yellow tags. Um, I have like furniture and baby gear over here because this is that side door I was talking about. That if you have something really large and awkward, crib, glider, bed, something like that, I don't want you to have to travel too far with that. So those will kind of go right in front here on the basketball court. Car seats will have tables because we don't want any expecting mamas on the ground trying to check out their car seats. We want them up so they can see them and interact with them easier. And then this is where all of the things like bikes, wagons, strollers, large toys will go. And then you're done. You do not need to check out. That's something we did. I know we did it last sale. We may have done it in the fall. I don't recall. But you don't need to check out. We're trying something a little new. Um, and that it's only my staff needs to worry about it. You don't. So, um, questions. Don't be shy. Jackie, anything I missed or should clarify better? Cool. Thanks. That's the goal. That's the goal. Um, so just so you guys know, when you do shop, like I said, it will be the opposite pathway. You'll come in the main door of Athletica into their lobby. Robin will be there to scan your ticket. And then you'll walk through this basketball court area, all this gear. There'll be like a walking path kind of along this side here. Um, and then you'll get out onto the floor. And then this is where registers will be all the way back here. Yep. Um, yeah, that is on our schedule, which I need to pull up because I never remember myself, even though I made it. Um, Sorry, let me pull this up. Let me see if I can share a different. Mm, I'm used to just sharing like an entire window and not like an actual, just like each tab. Okay, so this is your seller schedule. This is linked in a few different places on the website. Right now, I'm on About Selling, kind of like midway down the page. It's also on the How to Sell page. It's also linked in the resource library if you need to reference it. And it actually should also, it's also with your ticket. Um, you may or may not see the actual like image of it because it's embedded in there, but there is a link to it. So if you on your ticket, it'll look just like this. Let me scroll down. It'll be like LN full sales schedule for consignors. This is a hyperlink and it opens to a Canva doc that you can't see because I'm only sharing a tab, not an entire window. Okay. Way to go. Okay. So when you can shop, if you are crew, so you're doing a work shift at the sale, the earliest you can shop is 12 p.m. on Friday. Yep. Yep. Our helper, I think other sales call them team members, but that's confusing to me because I feel like team members also could be staff. So I've tried to really distinguish like consignor crew is consignors working for that extra percentage. And then our staff are like paid W-2 employees. So yeah, good question. Yeah, that's a good question. So I do have a ton of like um industrial style like rolling racks. Um I have about 26 of those. And the way we try to space everyone out is usually everyone is able to borrow one of those at drop off. We don't have any like carts or anything like anything like that. Um, Sometimes people can use the wagons that we have. Like we have wagons that we allow shoppers to use. But I have a limited supply of those. I've only got like 5 or 6. So, if you're able, I would definitely recommend bringing your own wagon, or like if you've got like some kind of cart, like a little push cart or whatever. Um, but we do like I said, we do have the rolling racks, and we do have a handful of wagons to use. All right. Anything else, friends? Hmm. Love it. Yep, that's a great question. So, um, I'll address the attire. So we'll have a shirt for you. Um, if you like a JBF shirt. Um, I don't think I'm going to run out, but on the off chance I do, I would recommend coming in something comfortable, that you can move around in. Same with your bottoms. Like I wear usually the wholesale like leggings. Some people like jeans, but whatever you're comfortable in and can move around in. Um, and then definitely, absolutely closed-toed shoes for that shift because you'll be lifting and moving. Um, for pickup, that is an added perk of that shift, right? So you're making an additional 5% on those shifts, because of the amount of labor it is. Um, but the perk of it is that you get to pick up your items before everyone else, right? What time is that shift? Maybe I'm confusing things. Is it the 2 to 6 or is it 6 to 10? Okay, yes. So, yes, you'll be able to get your items. You don't have to worry about, um, your assigned, like, pickup time. Um, you'll be able to pick up your items. We want you to get them out to your car. So, um, we do I call it, like, the Walmart check, right? Like, if you've collected your items, and you're on your way out the door, one of our staff will kind of flip through those items, make sure that they match your consignor number. Um, I do have, like, a little online form, we'll go over all this, like, when we get closer to pickup stuff. Um, you'll kind of go through that quick online form, take your items out to your car, and then come back in for your shift. Any other questions? These are really good questions, by the way, you guys. These are maybe for some of my more experienced people on the phone, any questions? Maybe you don't have maybe it's not your question, but it's a helpful question for the class. Sure. Wonderful. Mhm. Um, in that example, I might have to see it because if it's just a little wear on the heel and the shoe is pretty perfect and it's you said it's an Adidas, that might be I don't know, what have you priced it at? Do you have you tagged it yet? Mhm. Yep. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I might wanna Jackie, what do you think? I might wanna see it to see exactly how much wear we're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I'm excited for shoes, though, that's what my kids need. My boys go through shoes, like, I don't even know, like, where are they going that they're disintegrating off of their body? I don't understand it. Like, I think I replace their shoes, like, every 2 months, and I've just resigned that I am buying a terrible brand or something that they just fall apart. Alright, other questions, guys? This isn't the end. Um, if you think of something after this, certainly chime in on the group. Um, the Facebook group does heat up at this point, right? Because we're all like furiously tagging the last of our items. Um, it is the place to probably get the fastest answer on some things, especially if you're like wondering about a price or condition, things like that. Um, I am doing my best to stay on top of texts and emails, but if it is sort of like a crowdsourced question, the Facebook group is the place to go. If you need help with, I don't know, anything else, I can't think of it. I don't want to give you ideas because I'm I'm drowning. Um, but yeah, anything that you absolutely need me to solve for you, email or text. But like I said, crowdsourced questions. It's good for the group. And we all at one point were a brand new consignor. So there is no dumb question. Yeah. Yep. Yep. We'll have both. We'll have clear tape, we'll have painter's tape in case it's like one of those I always talk about like the train table, right? We don't want to like put packing tape on the surface of a a press board train table because it'll rip off the decals and things. So we'll have packing tape, painter's tape, and we'll also have zip ties and pins. So yeah, we'll have all that. I also have Clorox wipes. I have what do you call them? Those magic eraser things. I've got Tide pens. I try and if there's that little pesky stain that you didn't catch, and it's a beautiful item and you want to try and get out that stain last minute. Like we try and make it as accommodating as possible that you can leave all of your items um, there at drop off. Yeah. Yeah. This time around, I've only planned for the one drop off. Um, I don't have in the schedule a mid sale drop off. Um, my the thing I kind of have in my brain on my own was that if pre-sale goes crazy, um, and we're low on some things, then I might do a call out for a second drop off. Um, Second drop off will never be clothing because of inspection reasons. So it's usually only like toys, um, and larger items. Sometimes books. I think most people stick to like the large items for a second drop off. Um, but yeah, right now it's just the one. Oh, I see your question here. Right? Is this a um stolen items just out of luck? What has been stolen in the past? Okay, so I will say theft is really low. Um, we do our absolute best, and I'll kind of run through all of our security measures, right? So we have the high value items that go on cables. We have giant pink. I don't have any near me. Giant pink. They're like literally a half sheet. They're bright pink. They're laminated. It says security tag will be removed upon purchase. Those go on items that need it. We're sort of chaining all of the things on wheels together, and that they require a staff member to help with like any sort of test drive. So if a shopper wants to make sure they can fold down a particular stroller they're looking at, they need a staff member to come assist them with that. Um, Other security measures is sort of, like I said, that one-way flow, right? So we can't have people walking back out through the lobby. They have to go, in one direction, and they'll be visited with our receipt checker. Um, for this sale, we have a bag sponsor, which I'm probably going to use their items at pre-sale because that's our busiest. Um, and so we will be bagging them up, items up, and know that like as the bag leaves our sale that it was purchased. Um, I'm trying to think what else if I'm missing anything. Oh, and I have like Athletica has security cameras, but I also bought security cameras to put up and around, um, that are kind of closer to the merchandise on the floor. So, um, that's all to say we are doing. Oh, and I try and place people like either um, staff or our crew in key areas that somebody might try and do something nefarious. Um, it's also why I started putting our crew in t-shirts because it used to be like if you showed up as a crew member, um, you kind of wore your own clothes and you didn't look like anyone official. And I like you looking a little more official, that you are part of the JBF team, you are eyes on the ground, um, and you're there to help people. But it also just sometimes that presence will prevent someone from making a bad choice. Um, so those are all the security measures that we take. Um, the only things that I'm aware of that have been stolen in the past, one item was jewelry, and that I allowed at our bonus sale, even though it says in our guide, no jewelry, a lot of people were asking. So I said, you can bring it, but I'm not going to be responsible for it if it gets stolen. And there were, I think, 2 pieces that actually got stolen. Um, and then I think it was like a pair of Lululemon leggings. Those are the ones that I have evidence of. Um, oh, and a small wagon. It was like a really, in terms of price, it was an inexpensive wagon. It wasn't like one of those like stroller wagons. Um, and I'm assuming the person probably did exactly what I said. They started shopping with it and we didn't catch it on its way out. So again, that's why I'm chaining up all of the things on wheels to prevent that from happening. So no one would be able to grab that wagon and be like, "Oh, I'm going to buy it." And then they start shopping with it. And then at the cash register, they assume, like, my cashier assumes it's their wagon and doesn't ask for the ticket. So those are all the measures we put in place. Those are the things that I have seen evidence of being stolen. Um, I would say most of the time, if a consignor after pickup has missing items, it's been a missort. Like it ended up in a neighbor's pile and we just need to put it out in the group. We usually start like a thread of like mismatched things. And this is why we ask at pickup. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here, but this is why we ask at pickup, excuse me, go through your things yourself as you package them up. And this is why we do a once over also on its way out the door, just in case there's, like I said, a miss sort. So, um, oh, thanks, Kimmy. I appreciate that. Yeah, we try. We want everyone to um know us and trust us, and I believe trust is earned, and so that's what we're trying to do is um earn your trust and know that we're going to try and keep your items as safe as possible and that they get into the right hands of somebody who's going to pay for them honestly. So, you guys, I think this is the biggest group I've ever had for something like this. I'm so excited. All right, any other questions? Concerns? Want me to go through it one more time? I won't take as long cuz I'll talk faster. All right, friends, I'm going to call it then. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your questions. Thanks for your attention. Um, like I said, this isn't the end. If you think of anything else, throw it in the group. Um, I believe I've recorded this. So I hope I can post this maybe on our YouTube or something else if anyone needs to rewatch it. Um, and yeah, thanks for joining. And we will see you at the sale, which is insane. I can't believe it's here. So, all right. Good night, guys. Yep.